Oh boy, we have got to get into this Joy Taylor situation. So you guys have heard, most of you have heard about the lawsuit that's going on, and in fact, I wanted to show you her IG first because you just need to see. I mean, the thirst trapping is unreal. It is a constant boob out, body out, cat suit, bikinis, spread eagle in the middle of the street, in the middle of the water. I mean, just a straight up whoredom. I mean, this is supposed to be a professional sportscaster. Okay. And I'm not clicking on these because a lot of them, if I click them, you're going to see the full thing. And, YouTube gets funny. But I mean, it is a nonstop with her, where the number one thing that she wants y'all to know is she's got those big old itties. Okay. She got big old itties, and she does not miss an opportunity to make sure they are on display. They're on display on her IG, when she goes out, when she's in the media, and on the show in particular. She always has her boobs on display. Okay. Now, I want to play you this video by, her name is Mel, just like me, but her channel is called I'm Not a Lawyer, But. And she really breaks this down, kind of give you a quick synopsis of what's going on, because we've got to lay the groundwork before we go deeper. But just if you go to her IG, you will see she might as well be an Instagram model, an Instagram thought, a woman who is selling her body in order to get money from men, because she's selling sex. And on the show, this is why I've never liked her. I've always thought she was unprofessional. I also think she's a professional victim. She's also always claiming women's empowerment, and it's so hard for women versus men, and I've got to do this, that, and the other. I've got to work extra hard. And what did I say? I actually left a comment on her thing, and I say, yeah, I guess you do have to work extra hard, because those trains aren't going to run themselves, are they? But I won't be petty, at least not yet. Let's take a listen to this.
A former Fox hairstylist is suing Fox, Fox Sports, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, Charlie Dixon, who is the head of content for Fox Sports 1, Skip Bayless, and Fox Sports 1 host Joy Taylor. And child, I'm not a lawyer, but I read all 42 pages of this lawsuit, so let me give you the recap. Let me start off by saying that this is a two-part lawsuit. Nushin Faraji, who is the woman that's suing, has filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of her and other hourly employees. And then she's also filed an individual lawsuit on behalf of herself, claiming battery, hostile work environment based on gender, race, and disability. She's claiming retaliation, wrongful termination, and some other stuff. Here we go. So I'm going to call her Faraji because I don't know if I'm pronouncing her first name right, so just go with it. So Faraji says that she started working with Fox in 2012 and then was hired full-time in 2016. Starting off with defendant Joy Taylor, Faraji says she meets Joy Taylor in 2016, and at that time, Joy was working on an as-needed basis for Fox. She was married but had recently relocated from Miami to Los Angeles, but her husband was still in Miami, where she came from. Faraji says that in May of 2016, she goes to meet Joy for drinks, and when she gets there, a man named Charlie Dixon, who is a defendant and, like I said, is the head of content for Fox Sports 1, is also there. Faraji didn't know who he was, but he was buying drinks and food. After that first night, Faraji says anytime she would go to meet Joy for anything, Charlie Dixon would either come with Joy or he would come later and leave with Joy. The lawsuit says, quote, Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping with each other, and although this concerned Miss Faraji as she knew Miss Taylor was recently married, Miss Faraji kept her opinions to herself. Keeping your opinions to yourself and then filing this lawsuit with this information in it doesn't all the way feel like keeping your opinions to yourself. The suit goes on to say that Faraji continued to be friends with Miss Taylor, but tried to distance herself as she considered the situation dangerous as well as morally wrong, as Miss Taylor and Mr. Dixon were both married. In July of 2016, the lawsuit says people around the office start hearing about a new show that's going to be launching called Undisputed. The show was going to co-star Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe, and execs wanted a woman with significant TV experience to also star on the show. So Faraji says it was a surprise when Fox announced that Joy Taylor was the woman who got the job, considering that Joy previously was, quote, a bartender and Miami radio host with very little TV experience. Faraji is giving shade, ain't she? Now, Faraji says that Skip Bayless told her at one point that he didn't even want Joy Taylor on the show, but Charlie Dixon was adamant about it and eventually asked him to just do it as a favor to him. A few months after all of this, Faraji says she goes to dinner with Joy, Joy's husband, Charlie Dixon, and Charlie's wife. And during that dinner, quote, Miss Taylor's husband became suspicious that Miss Taylor and Mr. Dixon were having a relationship. Soon after the dinner, Miss Taylor's husband found evidence of the inappropriate relationship and decided to divorce Miss Taylor. Fast forward a bit to January of 2017, Faraji says that she was at a rooftop restaurant celebrating Joy Taylor's birthday when Mr. Charlie Dixon approaches her. The lawsuit says that he asked the bartender for a drink and then he places his arm on Faraji's lower back. He asked her how she was doing, if she was having fun, and if she wanted a tequila shot. He then, according to the lawsuit, lowered his hand and started rubbing her body and grabbing her behind. Faraji says that she told Joy Taylor about what happened, but to her surprise, Joy's response was, quote, get over it, and that Dixon could make both of them lose their jobs.
I want to stop there really quickly and we're going to continue. So this woman, Joy Taylor, okay, who is recently married, starts having an affair, okay, with the executive at Fox, sleeping with him in order to get a job, in order to get favors so that she can break into the sports broadcasting industry. Now, what's crazy is that a lot of people thought that she got that job or she was able to break into the sports broadcasting is because her brother is a former NFL player. That was what everyone always thought. But now that we found out that no, her brother had nothing to do with it. She was selling her body, essentially, because that's what it is, allegedly, okay? All this is alleged because it's in the lawsuit. Selling her body in order to make advancements. But what's crazy, this woman, it talks about women's empowerment and she has to work extra hard and it's, women, it's not fair and men aren't qualified for jobs. I actually have videos of her saying other men weren't qualified for jobs. It's just deranged. A woman comes to her and says, her best friend, they were like really close, essentially best friends, tells her what this man is doing. I know you're sleeping with him, but the guy you're sleeping with, the Fox executive, well, he now is grabbing on me and essentially assaulting me. And she says, no, oh my gosh, let's go to HR. I'm so sorry that happened. And I know it's uncomfortable, blah, blah, blah. Let me, give you a shoulder to cry on, whatever. No, get over it. Get over it. This is how it works. We're all hoes. We're all whores. We all are pimped out here at the network. And that is the only way we're able to get ahead. And it's just such a callousness. Like, this is how this works. Why in the world are you even talking about this or complaining about anything? I mean, this is how hypocritical people like this are. Women's empowerment. Where's your women's empowerment now? Right.
So from there, Faraji decides to tell another coworker. And the lawsuit says while that coworker agreed that Charlie Dixon was disgusting, the person also said that the behavior wasn't shocking given Fox's culture and that Faraji should just keep quiet if she wants to keep her job. The lawsuit says a few years into working at Fox, Faraji went to lunch with another one of her coworkers, and at that lunch, the woman tells her that she's no longer going to be working with Fox because Charlie Dixon told her in order to renew her contract, she needed to engage with him. The woman declined, and according to her, she was now parting ways with the company. Following that lunch, Faraji calls Joy Taylor to report what she learned at lunch, and according to her, Joy says no one gives a blank about that coworker. Now, in addition to what's claimed about Charles,
women's empowerment yet again. Woman is fired. She is let go because she didn't sleep with this guy. Now, Joy is spread eagle for him. She's on her knees glazing him down. But no. So she's willing to do what this other woman was not going to do. This other woman had dignity. She had pride. She had self-respect. But see, when you are a bottom feeder, when you are a gutter guzzler, okay, that's how I'm going to call it. When you are just at the bottom, in the gutter, ready to just guzzle up anything so that you can, climb ahead, get ahead in the corporate ladder or climb your way up. Well, you'll throw all the other women under the bus. She's probably happy, excited. And you think she didn't know these things? She's been sleeping with this man allegedly for years. She's had all the insider information. She may have been saying, listen, she won't do it. You need to let her go. And this is the thing. They're not going to fire the woman for not sleeping with him. No, they find a way okay, to get you out of there. They find a reason, a redundancy, oh, your job has been pushed out. We don't need this, or they cancel a show. It actually gets really diabolical once you hear more from some insiders that I talked about: Jason Whitlock, Marcellus Wiley, especially Jason Whitlock. He has been spilling everything. But when you think about it, it's so diabolical to present yourself as one way, but behind the scenes, you're a scheming whore. You're Ghislaine Maxwell, essentially. I mean, not to that level because it's just about herself, but you get what I mean. You're pretending and virtue signaling and Black women and this, that, and the other, but you're being a bed wench, essentially, okay? You're being a bed wench for this executive, and we don't know how many other executives. We know also the co-host that we're going to get into. But you're a bed wench and talking about Black women, need to stand up. They need to be treated better. We're not respected. And then this is you. This is why I don't listen to none of these people. When people say, but you're a Black woman, you're hating on other Black women, miss me with it. Because this is the type of deviancy you see. It doesn't matter their race. It doesn't matter color. It doesn't matter any of that. It's about their character. And you can see right here, her character is at the bottom.
Dixon and Joy Taylor, Faraji also has some claims about Skip Bayless. Faraji was hired to give Skip Bayless haircuts once a week for Undisputed, and at first these appointments were fine. But eventually he, quote, began finding excuses to touch her. He would give her lingering hugs after each haircut, putting his body against her own, pressing against her, and he even began kissing her on her cheeks. In the summer of 2017, while Miss Faraji was giving Skip Bayless a haircut, he told her that she was, quote, voluptuous. Now Faraji, whose first language is in English, asked him what voluptuous meant, and he said she should figure it out. Eventually she does, and she says she was mortified. Faraji says that she decided to keep quiet about all of this because she was a single mom and needed the job to care for her and her son. In an incident from 2021, Faraji says that she told Skip about some medical issues she was having, but instead of him being compassionate, Faraji says that he told her he wanted to be with her, and then allegedly grabbed her hands, began kissing them, and offered her $1.5 million to engage with him. About 1 week after the $1.5 million offer, Faraji says Skip tries her again, and this time Faraji tells him, quote, Skip, stop, you have a wife. To which Skip responded, quote, aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 to 4 wives? And then Faraji responded that her dad was dead. In April of 2022, the lawsuit says that Faraji walked over to Skip's fitting room on set. And when he answered the door, he, quote, began to angrily accuse her of engaging with Shannon Sharpe. Faraji tried to explain that that never happened, but she says Skip didn't believe her. This back and forth goes on for a number of days, and then on April 16, 2022, during a phone call between Skip and Faraji, Faraji says that Skip tells her he could tell from her body language that she had done what he was accusing her of. He then also stated that he heard her talking to Shannon about her private. There's also an incident from 2018 in which Faraji says that around that time, Joy Taylor's then fiance, so this seems different than the husband she had back in 2016, learns that
she was married and began cheating right away with that man. I think she was only married for a year, okay? And then she got engaged to a former NBA player, and I think he was a coach. I think Earl Thomas. And she was cheating on him while she was engaged to be married, and began cheating on him as well with this executive. So the entire time from when she was married through her divorce, her dating, her then fiance, Earl Thomas, she was sleeping with this executive and God knows who else. A woman like this has absolutely no morals at all. She will do anything for a dollar. So she's sleeping with whoever, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that blows her way, that she thinks that she can take advantage of, that there's some benefit for her. Okay. And let's not act like that's just the only reason she was sleeping with these different guys. A woman like this, she's just got to have it. She's a freak. And listen, that a lot of guys may like that, but in a workplace to do something like this, it's an absolute disgrace. And usually the blowback is on all the men, which there's plenty of smoke for them, okay, in this situation. But Joy in particular, being a woman and being such a hypocrite, that's what really makes this nasty. And so she's cheating on all her men, and somehow the cheating scandals with, because they find out she's cheating with this executive or several executives. We only know of this. We got to see if as more comes out that they find out, but somehow, whether they're paid off or I don't know, it's very strange. But I know if I was married and my wife was cheating, my husband was cheating with this woman at work, or I'm engaged and that's happened, and I found out our whole relationship, this was going on. Oh, there's going to be some hell to pay. Listen, we're going to court. I'm going to expose everything about you. But for some reason, they didn't. And it's not just because men don't kiss and tell and they're not going to, tell anything. Yes, they will. In a situation like this, and you find out your wife is for the streets, she's a whore, the gloves are off. So it looks like that they were either paid off, something happened to keep them silent. And we've got to find out more about it.
He had been sleeping with Charlie Dixon. Joy's fiance breaks off the engagement after learning this news and threatens to go public with everything he knew. The lawsuit says, upon information and belief, Charlie Dixon paid for everything it took to cancel the wedding in exchange for the fiance not saying anything.
I don't think it was probably just that. It was probably for everything for the wedding. And it was going to have to be some more compensation. What, you're just going to pay off my vendors that I owe? No. I'm going to need my pockets greased if you want me to be quiet. Especially think about it, he has no incentive to be quiet. So did Dixon pay him off or did Fox pay him off? We don't know.
Faraji also says that a man named Bobby Diaz, who mics up the talent for Fox, openly gropes, harasses, and is inappropriate with women at Fox, including her. And the only reason he hasn't been fired is because he supplies narcotics to Fox employees and talent, even after an incident where he removed his pants on live camera. What's going on over at Fox? In February of 2020, Faraji says she meets Joy for lunch, and when she gets there, Emmanuel Acho was also there. Faraji didn't know who he was, but she says, quote, she could tell that the two were romantically involved. Faraji says she tells Joy Taylor that she probably shouldn't be sleeping with Emmanuel and Charles Dixon because Dixon is a very powerful man who might get angry. But Joy allegedly responded saying she is also very powerful, and once Charles Dixon was no longer useful to her, she would just tell the company that he forced himself on her. Faraji says Joy wanted Acho to recommend her for...
That's right. So when he was no longer useful, she couldn't get her way, or she was past the point of needing him. And if he got in her way or anything else, she could always hang it over his head, their sexual relationship. And not only could she just say, we had a sexual relationship, he's my boss, I'm a subordinate, and stir up that way, lying, essentially, knowing that she's the one that was doing this willingly and happily. But of course, she could use that. But no. She goes a step further. This is how diabolical this witch is. She actually, allegedly, was going to accuse him of essaying her, of violating her against her will, willing to Me Too this man, destroy his life, probably bring criminal charges against someone like this in this situation, because criminal charges would have to be brought up. Fox couldn't cover that up. Bring that up. She was willing to do that in order to keep power, in order to keep gaining for herself. This woman is an absolute demon. I mean, demon. Right here, we're seeing it in real time. A woman who would plot to make false accusations of something very serious against a man. We've seen it many times before. I just covered even the Duke Lacrosse case. That woman finally admitted that she lied, even though everyone knew. And there's been multiple cases that I have reported here on my channel. And see, initially, through Me Too, believe all women. Why? Just because they're a woman? Now you see the nature of a lot of these people, a lot of these women, where they are engaging in these things and then they lie, they turn around and lie in order to protect themselves with zero conscience. Zero. That shows you how psychotic, how depraved, narcissistic, just completely devoid of any moral character. I still can't get over. I think that was the worst part of this entire lawsuit. But let's continue.
For the show Speak for Yourself, and in September of 2022, she was in fact hired on that show. By October 2021, Faraji says the friendship between her and Joy Taylor had ended. And when it does, Joy begins insulting her on a personal and professional level. Joy allegedly openly mocked Faraji's English and complained about Faraji's humming. The humming is apparently involuntary, and it's a subconscious coping mechanism Faraji uses for PTSD. Joy Taylor also then began saying that she needed a black hairstylist on set instead of Faraji, who is in black. Time goes on, but eventually Faraji is told that she is no longer needed as a hairstylist at all. And when she asked the head of operations if she had done anything wrong, the woman responded, quote, "You remind me of my dog, and when I take my dog out, he barks at bigger dogs. That's like you." I don't even know what that means, but comparing somebody to a dog is not okay. In August of 2023, Skip somehow learns that Faraji never actually engaged with Shannon Sharpe and decides to apologize to her. While he's doing that, he also tells her that Charlie Dixon wanted her fired because she knew too much and was talking too much. There's some HR meetings, some internal investigations, and on August 8th, 2024, Faraji is officially told that after an investigation, she is being fired because Fox can only afford to have one hairdresser on their 3 shows, 2 of which Faraji had been working on. Faraji says
they can only afford one hairdresser, one stylist. Really? Fox? Really? That's what we're doing? This is the lies we're spinning. And it actually goes deeper. Like I said, there's so many details that aren't in here, but I wanted to just give you kind of like a brief overview of what is going on for people who, haven't been paying attention to this.
After much therapy, she is now at the point where she seeks justice. So she's suing for battery, which is specific to Charlie Dixon for that alleged incident that took place on the rooftop bar, Skip Bayless for those lingering hugs, pressing on her body, kissing on her cheeks, and Fox, because according to her, they required their employees to appease the talent or do whatever they needed to keep them happy. She's also suing for a hostile work environment, failure to prevent harassment, which is specific to Fox for not taking reasonable steps to prevent this kind of stuff from happening, retaliation, because she says in one of those HR meetings, she confirmed that Joy Taylor was sleeping with Emmanuel and Charlie Dixon, and shortly after, she said she was fired. So according to her, those 2 things are related. And then she's also suing for wrongful termination. Now, like I said, there's also the class action part of this lawsuit, and Faraji does go into details of that, but it's essentially that she and other non-exempt employees were not properly paid, even though they were required by Fox to work. So we just gonna start off 2025 hot, huh?
So you hear all of that, and guys, I'm gonna play you a couple of clips of Joy spewing her nonsense, but also Emmanuel Ocho, who she was sleeping with. And according to Jason Whitlock, like even up to 2 weeks ago, they still have been engaged, either him or the executive. I got to go back and look at it. But she still was engaged in this with Emmanuel Ocho. But Jason Whitlock said that they were actually living together. Okay? Living together. That's how deep this went. That's how diabolical it is. Now, when you hear that, let me play this for you and understand when Emmanuel Ocho or H.O., whatever his name is, when he is saying this stuff, he is sleeping with Joy. And in fact, one of the videos in his car, a lot of people are thinking she's right there with him.
And so I want to play you a clip of when a woman has you by the balls, when this is what you sound like. You sound like a simp. Let's play SOT number 2.
Just got done with rehearsal for the new show Speak, and I got to take a moment to shout out my co-host Joy Taylor. A woman.
I want you to notice something really quickly. As you watch this, he keeps sniffing his finger, and he's randomly in his car and decided to make this video. And as you listen to what he's saying, it just sounds, I don't know, to me, it's like, some say, is she sitting next to him, or is her head down in his lap? Something is very off, because it's an egregious level of simping. It's pure egregious The way he's like, she's so great. She's this, that, and the other. This woman has done nothing. She was a bartender who slept her way in there, hasn't really done anything great. And he's just praising and praising and praising her. All while they are sleeping together. And then I don't know if at this time they were living together, but that is how diabolical these people actually are.
Woman, a black woman, Daily Show, sports. Do you?
This is what you sound like. You sound like a simp. Let's play SOP number 2.
Just got done with rehearsal for the new show Speak, and I got to take a moment to shout out my co-host Joy Taylor. A woman, a black woman, Daily Show, sports. Do you all realize how hard it is to get into the position that she is in?
Ooh, how hard it is to get into her position. It ain't that hard. It ain't that hard. Oh, and I didn't click the thing. Hold on, let's go back. How hard is it for her to get in position?
But Joy is not only in the position that she is in. So often there's misogyny and sexism running rampant in sports, and we don't even care what women have to say in sports. But Joy is not only in the position on television as a woman, as a black woman, but as an opinionist. So not just asking men what they think, but providing her own unique and distinct insight. It's hard to do, and Joy, you have done it. So congratulations. Looking forward to working with you, and hope y'all tune in 4:30 to 6 Eastern every day starting next week.
What? How hard it is. And she did it. Joy, you did it. You climbed on top. I guess she did. Nasty heifer.
I never want to sound like that. I never want to be that dishonest. Now, according to Nusheen, in this lawsuit, and according to people that I would know, connected to Fox Sports, this dude is banging Joy Taylor, or was at that time. Does he reference that at any point? Does he? And boy, she got that good. Joy Taylor, she's amazing on air, but man, if you knew what it was like off air, you'd understand. Never mentions it. Doesn't come up. I'm not saying this to put myself on a pedestal. I'm really not. I'm just keeping it real with you all. I'm a degenerate, idiot loser. I'm capable of all these sins that we're talking about. I'm capable of all of them. I've done some of them. But I keep it real with you all. I let you know. There's no way I could go on air and talk about Joy Taylor and be tapping that, or have been tapping that, or knew that she seduced me as part of getting. I couldn't do it. I would say nothing, or I would say, hey, and I tapped that, guys, and it's good.
And I mean, the internet has no chill. This is what they have him. Remember, he keeps sniffing his finger in that video, and this is what's going viral. I mean, it's just pure diabolical. Now I want to play you some things that actually, before I play that, let me show you what he did on her birthday, for her birthday last year, what he posted. Happy birthday to my brilliant co-host, my homie, and my friend, Joy Taylor Talks. It's a pleasure and an honor to work with you daily. He's working with her. Okay, it's a pleasure. Again, this all hits different once you know the truth. Y'all go show her some love. Yeah, we're going to show her some love, all right. This bop going to get all the love I can give her. But let me play this little stupid video again.
I couldn't find you. I couldn't find you. Oh,
Yeah, right there.
Okay, I don't know why it keeps going down like that. So yeah, that's just he actually tried to delete that video. Emmanuel Ocho, what I don't know how to say his name. Tried to delete the video, but of course the internet grabbed it before he could do anything. Now let me play this.
Can we just keep it a buck? If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want, fine, funny, fucking money. You're throwing all boundaries, standards, all that shit you talked on Instagram about how you would never, and this woman ain't because women this and men this, you're moving forward with this person.
Joy Taylor, who every time I scratch my eyes is looking more like Jamel Hill. It's the only way people will listen to her because she doesn't really know anything about the game and never really has.
The next time a woman's up for a job, I don't want to hear about the experience that she needs to have it.
I'm using her thinking.
I love a good unqualified man hire. Woo.
Love it.
How does Joy Taylor have a job talking and grading football players and teams on a sport she never played? She never put a helmet on once. She doesn't understand how it really goes down. She doesn't know what she's looking at. How does she have a job talking about football?
An opportunity that he is completely unqualified for.
She doesn't have that job if Jason Taylor's not her sister. Let's go. If Jason Taylor, a Hall of Famer, isn't her sister, nobody knows who Joy Taylor is. Nobody even knows who she is. I'm sorry. Joy Taylor, who every time I scratch my...
So I think he meant if she wasn't his sister. I think that's what he meant. But essentially, and I've seen several clips of this, of the same type of thing where she's talking all this junk. And actually, the clip I played of you when she talking about she wants effing money, back when she made that statement a few months ago, I actually did a full video on that one. And in fact, I will link it to this one if I remember. I don't always remember, guys. But I just wanted to kind of just dip my toe into this whole story. In my next one, I'm going to be bringing you a lot more receipts. I want to play a lot of what Jason Whitlock had to say about this entire situation. And just giving some details about it. One in particular I wanted to bring up was that Skip Bayless was so diabolical. The stylist, the hairstylist, in order to, push him off, she actually had gotten an ovarian cancer diagnosis. And she thought by telling Skip this, that he would have empathy. He would, he wouldn't keep trying to pursue her. He would let it go. No. He continued to harass her. He continued to beg and to simp and to plead for her to give him the cheeks. And he still didn't get it. Skip is really thirsty. Unc is struggling out here. But with that, guys, make sure you're subscribed. You're not going to miss the next one I come out with because it's going to be a smoke show.